There we go. Mic's unmuted. Good morning, folks. Good morning. Alrighty, so good morning, Milky Fade. Good morning, everybody. Happy to have you back online. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Alrighty, we'll give it a few seconds before we get going. New update here. For some reason, again, the mentoring link, the landing page just doesn't want to work properly. So today I have a meeting with my parent company that hosts this site to see what the issue is. So I apologize for those that already signed up. Basically, we're going to have to redo that whole process because for whatever reason, landing page isn't working correctly. So again, I have a meeting today to hopefully get that squared away and get it online by tonight or by the end of the week. So just an FYI on that. No, Tom, nope, never reached out, but I did end up jumping into Matt's live stream. I think it was last week. Sent I think a $50 super chat with a message telling him to add it onto his chart. We'll see. It probably didn't happen, but hey, maybe if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I wish they would. It would. I think it would really help him and his viewers for sure. But anyways, maybe one day. So what we'll get rocking and rolling on here is, of course, the daily analysis on the market. Just an FYI before we kind of get going on that, if you're not already aware, this is a stock ZEV. That's weird. My chart never looks like that. Huh. There is a stock ZEV right now that's been trading up on the day. It's at the 200 moving average and it's at the daily chart +1 deviation. Arguably still kind of looks strong, so kind of following this one throughout the day today, but this is what it looks like on the long-term chart. You'll see that it's run right up and into the +1 mark at about $9.50. That is what's currently created or is creating that pullback. So again, this pullback that happened at 860 here on ZEV is occurring because we're on the 180-day 4-hour +1 deviation mark. And again, arguably, this still looks pretty strong, so do be careful if you're trying to be bearish. And then they've released some news that they got up to an $850 million deal contract agreement, a multi-year agreement for up to $850 million in zero-emission bus technology plus charging products and services. So this is more EV-related news. And generally, whenever stock is running on EV news, they tend to have pretty good moves. So keep watching this one more on the long side. Yeah, I mean, we'll just keep watching. I don't really know. Let me check another time frame before I switch off this. That chart is not working right. And that's really annoying. I mean, maybe $11 to heck, even 12 is possible today. So yeah, we'll keep watching this one long bias. I'm not sure exactly how high it's going to run, but momentum is definitely positive right now for that stock. No notifications for the last 2 weeks and you're subscribed to our channel? Wow, that's really weird. I wonder why somebody subscribed to our channel with the notification bell on doesn't get any notifications from YouTube. That's really weird because they even say once you subscribe and hit the notification bell, then YouTube will actually send you notifications. Really odd. Actually, if you would, maybe also check your email because I think if you're subscribed to someone, you do get an email. So check your email and see if YouTube is sending you emails about being notified when we're live. Yeah, you're supposed to, but so maybe I should. Nah, I shouldn't even contact them. They'll just give me the runaround and most likely lies. All right, so we are going to be hopping into, we're going to be hopping into the market. Reloading time never gets his notification or his emails. Interesting. Yes, we are going to go over mRNA, which I'm starting to become more bearish on. It's definitely been a really bullish stock, but it's really getting to the point where I think it's gonna have a pullback sooner than later. So Nonetheless, we will be looking at mRNA. We will look at AMC, which, by the way, did pretty much everything we said it was going to do, aside from the earnings report. We didn't predict the earnings report. That wasn't something we did. But we did predict both the long targets on the day yesterday. So I was really happy about that, all said and done, by market close. All right, so we're going to pop on over here to the SPY. Again, same thing as it's been for the past 3 weeks. The SPY is still just kind of trading up and around the long-term statistical mean. So on the 4-hour chart, we're basically just sitting at 444.29 on the long-term statistical mean. Same thing with the daily chart. The daily chart is just on trend. So again, this is a situation where I'm basically going to keep repeating myself. I don't see anything that's too crazy here. We're not on a dip buy. We're just ho-hum running. We're not on a big extension long move. So basically at this point, we're just riding the market, ho-hum, diddly-dum, until we get a correction. And then when we get a correction, then there's going to be more in-depth analysis that we need to talk about and do predictions on. But as for right now, we're just riding. That's it. Let me actually look at this really quickly. Yeah, I think it might be too soon to tell. I was going to say, arguably, there might be a slight bearish divergence. It's kind of occurring, but I wouldn't even go that far to say that. Nope. So again, SPY just right on trend. If I could give you a little more detail, so for me, like, it's all about the markets either eventually cracking and staying below the means or eventually holding above. But we've been failing to really hold above for quite some time, it seems. So I think we'll just continue chopping. So right now, like on the day, this is kind of the long-term statistical mean zone. So it's really just chopping through that area every day. So again, until the market cracks and breaks, I think we just ride this trend for the most part. Okay. Let me peek over. All right, so now we're going to go over to mRNA. Oh, wait, no. First, we got to go to the NASDAQ. Sorry. What is the red line? Is that the 200 simple moving average? No, that is the 50 exponential moving average, 50 EMA. All right, so again, the NASDAQ, very similar to that of the SPY, except that the NASDAQ is actually above its long-term mean. So it's a little bit more bullish theoretically than the SPY. So again, same thing. I think we're just rolling up. Now, I would definitely be bearish the NASDAQ if in the event it got up to the price of 378 for now. But again, that's a big stretch. But right now we're at 368, so the 378 would be a 1,000-point day on the market, which we haven't seen one of those in basically forever. So that being said, I wouldn't anticipate that. But in the event we somehow magically see the market all up there, which wouldn't happen today, but it could happen over the course of maybe a couple weeks, that it would really start to be more bearish the market. So no real specific game plans on how we should go about watching the market because it's just really chopping around this trend. Okay. All right. Now we're going to pop on over to mRNA and then we're going to move to AMC. So mRNA, I am thinking that we've entered into more bearish locations for sure. Now this move here, this big move from yesterday was 100% a short squeeze. No doubt in my mind, that was a short squeeze. We were starting to get really high up on mRNA, almost to +3 deviations, which starts to convince people to bet bearish again. And I think the bet was too soon, hence why the market squeezed back up. Now we are actually over +3 deviation on the 4-hour, and we're over +3 deviation on the daily chart. Slightly nearing... no problem, Mr. AR. I appreciate the $20 super chat. That goes a long way. Oh yeah, like just an FYI, pretty much all, like I was saying before, any of the things that get donated to the super chats will then end up being invested. So I'm not going to use any of that money to actually like live on. So all the super chats will end up getting invested to the Webull portfolio when we get it up and live. Basically, I'm having to transfer money out of a old retirement account that I don't really use that much, So I'm having to go through all this paperwork and signing stuff. So when that money gets transferred out of that one, then I'm going to use that money, and it's going to go into the Webull account, and then any super chat that's donated to the any super chat that's donated will then end up getting deposited into that account to help it grow faster, so that you guys can also be a part of that and see that accumulate. So with mRNA, we've gotten to +3 deviation 4 hour, +3 deviation, +3 deviation on the daily chart. So we're starting to get to that overbought location. I wouldn't be surprised if mRNA does continue up, but ideally this is the zone where I'm starting to consider we're going to see a rejection or an attempt to reject the price on this stock. So I'm going to be paying close attention to be bearish on mRNA in these prices. Yeah. Alrighty, let's pop on over. Well, let me give a little more detail on this. That was kind of vague. Actually, no, it's really not. That's just it. We're just tracking this for being overbought at +3 deviation. I'm starting to think this market's going to get weak on mRNA. So starting to watch this thing on the bear side. I have a 5-share position short on mRNA right now, so I'm trying to build in a position onto the top. So I've already started short this morning, pre-market 5 shares. And unless it breaks down right away, maybe it goes up a little more, then I'll average up. So right now, slowly wiggling in a short position to mRNA. It's currently up, about $4 a share right now. Okay, over to AMC. Okay, so yesterday's analysis pre-market before open was that you wanted to go for a long move to this red line, and then once you broke through that red line, you wanted to target that red line, okay? And then you will notice when we went up to this red line, there was a strong rejection off that price. And then when we went up to that red line, there was a strong rejection off that price, because those 2 price points we gave you were long-term statistical levels as opposed to just a price action level. Those are trending areas. So that happens, and then they report earnings and the move spikes up overnight. I was not sure what the estimated earnings expectation move was going to be, so I'm not sure what it was at the time. But nonetheless, AMC has made a good move. Now, the analysis that we gave you yesterday and probably the day before was that until the bulls get the market back over 25, until the bulls are back over 35.25, they don't actually take back somewhat of a momentumous control in the market. So until bulls were back over 35.25, theoretically, the bearish market still had control over AMC. Well, now that earnings has happened, the move has happened, and now AMC is back over the price of 35.25, then the market is slightly onto more of a bullish move now, all right? So really the objective that AMC has going forward, at least for now. By the way, the stock NEV is starting to kind of retrace back down, just an FYI. All right, so again, the objective now for AMC is that you would want to see it stay above the price of, for sure, obviously 35.25, but so you'll see that we went to the 4-hour chart, there was a half deviation price. We're going to the daily chart, and then you have the full deviation price. You can even see yesterday, look at the wick that created. Market went up to the mean and then just rejected right away, okay? So, yeah, so those are the 2 price points. So that's actually 35.40 now, okay? So yeah, these are the 2 price points that you want the market to stay over. You will also see that the market squeezed right off that red level. So again, we went up to it, broke above it, chopped it, then squeezed off it. So currently today, these are going to be your support levels that you want the market to stay above, all right? So it's very possible that you see AMC roll down today back to retest this zone. And if it's really weak, then it would come down and probably retest this zone. But something you should consider is this market to actually swing lower to retest support before it would continue on a long push, all right? So that's really what I'm watching. I'm not convinced that today that AMC is just going to rip. I kind of feel it's going to retrace back down. Now, if you're not aware of AMC's earnings, there's a couple things that came out last night. They said that revenue surged, all right? Well, the headlines say revenue surged, but the headlines don't tell you what revenue was like 12, 15 years ago as opposed to today. So if you look at what revenue was 12, 15 years ago, it's not really surging in comparison to what it was a long time ago. That's something to note. But there are some cool things that they're considering doing. And this was always the argument. If AMC really wants to kind of maneuver longer lifespan, they need to introduce some sort of gaming thing, interactive thing for their theaters. So they're talking with GameStop. They also got a 45-day exclusive deal with Warner Bros. To provide, new released movies to the market, at least for 45 days before it goes elsewhere to probably streaming platforms and things like that. So that's another bonus. But, to me, that's really nothing new that's already been happening in the TV industry anyways. I mean, theaters always had exclusive deals with production companies before movies came out in the first place. So really, they're just telling you things that are already good that happen in the industry there. But they did consider talking to GameStop and trying to create a partnership there. So there's things that they're doing to try to evolve, which is exactly what you want to see for AMC. So nonetheless, we're slightly on the bull side. Now, because we've gotten back over that 35.25, again, bulls kind of have control of the market. I'm just not positive if this run's going to continue right away or if we're going to get a retest of support. So I'm kind of neutral for right now on AMC because I was more bullish this day and yesterday. So again, this is when we said to be long on that day with a target of like 33, 34. And we said to be long yesterday with targets of 34.40s or whatever to 35.30s or something like that. So now I'm almost thinking we pull back before the run would continue. Now, I will say if this is a legitimate bottom and AMC is meant to rip back up, then you should be expecting a price target of $43.60 to, that would probably be it for now. So yeah, if this is a true move back up, you would probably target back to $43.60. Let's put it that way. $43. Okay. It's squeezed because everyone's short. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's definitely one of the things, right? If you look at AMC, part of the reason that it's having this big bounce move is, again, this thing has sold. Back when it was up here, it traded up to +3 deviations. It then cracked, broke down, traded all the way down, and now we are below the long-term mean. So that means we're kind of on sale, and the market is coming down into lower risk buying zones and supports. So that's why you're seeing this dip price bounce there. That's why you're seeing this dip price bounce here. Because again, we are trending down into lower risk buy zones and lower risk support zones, okay? And if this is a true solid bullish move back up, then the market should try to revert it back to the 4-hour mean. That's a very strong possibility. But again, if you look at just kind of the way this is moving, we can put a trend line right through the middle of it. All right, so again, you had your move up, pulled back, trade through trend, pull up. Wouldn't be surprised if we pull back to remember I said those are supports. I would not be surprised if AMC ends up pulling back, retest support, and then going on a move. So this is something that I'm going to watch and probably play by ear. But right now it seems more on the bull side than it would be bearish. Okay. Actually, I don't own any stocks in mRNA. It's just I'm just short mRNA. So that means I actually borrowed shares to be bearish the stock, and it's just bleeding out beautifully. So might even add a little more to that. Yeah, put on a little more. It's already bleeding out, so I'm just going to hop in trend. Might not be the best entry, but worth an attempt. So I could very well see mRNA coming back down to the price of 477 today. Again, if it's a true breakdown, then yeah, it's going to go to 477 guaranteed. If it's not a true breakdown, there's another story. But still, nonetheless, bearish mRNA. Overbought, hitting +4 SDC, and let me grab my handy dandy notebook and write down some of these requests before I forget. EVGO. I will make sure to look at that, and I apologize if it was something that was with momentum and maybe I missed it. And actually, hold on. There's another kind of stock moving here. I'm going to pass on that. All right, EVGO, XELA. Okay, so you did the math for AMC, was off by about $2. So again, another good example where it's not always perfect, but at least you got an idea. AQHPI. I do appreciate you guys tuning in yesterday. Yesterday was the largest amount of peak viewers we had. I think we hit a high of 468 at one time, and then that was also the highest amount of thumbs up we have gotten. I think we got close to 700 all said and done, or like 600 likes on our last stream, which is significantly more than what we typically get. So that was almost like a 50% increase, and ironically the stream almost got about the same number, slightly more. So it's just funny because thumbs ups are supposed to do good, and so you get a 50% increase, but same views. I don't know. Again, YouTube algorithm. It's a tricky thing. You guys should try YouTube. It's a fun thing. It's always giving you something to work on. Okay, I'm just writing down a couple of these stocks before I continue to move forward. Do I hold? No, I do not hold GBTC in my Roth IRA. No, I haven't been able to add to my Roth IRA in a lot of years because my income level exceeded what the IRS would allow you to. Yeah, once your income exceeds a certain level, which I think is $130,000 a year, then you're not allowed to use a Roth IRA because essentially you'll make too much money, and it's not good for everyday regular civilians to make that much money. It's just we shouldn't allow them to do that, so we're going to cap the amount of money that they're able to invest in the open and free markets. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. But, that's your government, always out to help. Boiler Room was pushed on Trader TV yesterday. Let's go! Let's go! Wow, look at mRNA shitting the bed, folks. Literally shitting the bed. Again, as a quick refresher, why we would even consider to be bearish, that blue line, long-term +3 deviation, okay? Statistically speaking, there's a 99.7% chance that the markets would normally be inside of that. Again, this is the stock market. Things are a little bit crazy. I've never taken statistics. I've learned about it briefly, but I'm considering actually enrolling in college statistics classes to hopefully give me some more experience on this to make me better. But just a simple generic outlook is that when a stock or any set of data points exceed the 3 standard statistical deviation mark and or level, the statistics behind it, which 80% of statistics are actually false, so for what it's worth. But theoretically, with the way the system works, 99.7% of the time when price action exceeds or goes below 3 deviations, 99.7% of the time it's inside of. It would be inside of. So it's seen as a big extreme, not normal, and markets would most likely come back down so that it can be within inside that 99.7% percentile range. If that makes sense. So basically, there's a 99.7% chance that most price action of all stocks will exist within inside 3 deviations. So whenever it's existing outside of 3 deviations, you're like, that should probably come back down with inside 3 deviations. So once we get over the blue, we start to get the purple line, and that's why we say this is overbought. Your risk is all the way back down to the blue, because once the market exceeds those levels, people like me algorithms, computers, high-frequency trading machines, hedge funds will start to sell, and they're going to drag that market back down into its normal trading range. So nonetheless, that's why I always say watch out when they're that high, because there's a good chance that the move will revert all the way back down to the 3 deviation mark. So again, right now, earlier we said that the price target for now is pretty much back down to that red line. So the current short that I'm in, I'm expecting there's a good chance this market moves all the way down to here. And then that's a good chance we would get a bounce here, or at least an attempt to bounce the market. If we don't, then that means mRNA is exceptionally weak, and we would just be more confident that it's going to go down. So anyways, target pre-market downside is $47 and 47. That doesn't make sense. It's 400. I was like, wait, I can't say this right. It's $476.40 is your current downside pre-market target, and a very good chance that there will try to be a pre-market support counter trend bounce there. Okay. So that's pretty much it on mRNA. All we ask is that you go ahead, tickle the like button right now for the 300 of you guys that are on here. The like button does dramatically help our stream, supposedly. So if you would, take the time, smash the thumbs up button, and we'll continue rocking and rolling here on this analysis. Another update, if you hopped in a little bit later than I had already made this announcement, we're having issues with the landing page and the checkout of our mentoring/coaching one-to-one session. So if you've already enrolled in that, just know that we are trying to get it back online by the end of the night or the end of the week. And I have your email, and you will be the first that I contact because you're the first to sign up. So for those of you that already signed up, I have your emails, and I will send you a message when it's properly online so that you can have first priority, since you were ones to first originally join in the first place. Okay, awesome. So that pretty much takes care of some of the real popular things today. We'll keep an eye on mRNA, no doubt. I'm going to run through a couple more of these comments here. Do I believe AMC will reach 100 plus over time? Based on fundamentals, no. But if there is enough people with bicycle helmets strapped to their forehead ready to go to war, and then maybe. But on a fundamental perspective, no, I don't. And then people are like, oh, well, fundamentals don't matter. Fundamentals don't matter. I mean, you're right. Fundamentals don't matter. That's why you got a bunch of people with bicycle helmets rolling in trying to get this thing to go to $1,000 a share. So I don't know if they can do it. I hope they do it, because if they do it, that would be awesome. But from a fundamental perspective, no, $100 share makes absolutely no sense to me. But again, does it really matter in the end? I don't know. I don't think so. So no, my opinion would be no, it shouldn't be $100. But if it goes to $100, you also have 30 million people watching YouTube streams for AMC right now. Ooh, nice. Okay, Robert, so that's something I didn't know. That's good to know. So the deal with Warner Bros. Actually allows the movies to be released to the theaters earlier than that would be on a streaming platform. No, we're not looking at the 4-hour. We do look at the daily chart too. So my thoughts were that you have a potential move to the $12 zone. Obviously, that would only be if the market could have sustained over the +1 deviation mark, which so far it's fading down below, so that's not a good sign. So right now, slightly bearish. Only way you could even get to 12 is if ZEV comes back and reclaims $9.50 for the time being. Thank you, Mr. Montero. Appreciate that, bud. Hit the like button. Okay, IMB actually still bullish. How come the top? How come Top Gun 2 isn't out yet? That I don't know. Bad link in the night box. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, see, that's dumb. Why would it do that? All right, so which one is that? That would be the elite. So that makes 0 sense why it would do that. Unless it's trying to... let's see. You're not wrong about that. Yeah, that does not work right. Funny. They always do that. It's better. Okay. Okay. No, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. The link was actually just wrong. Even the space didn't really make a difference. So, all right, let's pop on over here to. We're gonna look at EVGO here. There was also a really big pop there from the stock ZEV a second ago. Well, not a big one, just a pretty harsh candle. So that's a short seller cover pop. If it sells off right away, that's a sign of weakness. So if ZEV, this current 1 minute candle, does not really sustain very well, it's a very bearish sign. If it holds well, then that could be a bullish sign. So kind of interesting to watch that right now. What's the significance of the Boiler Room name? So back in like, I don't know how long ago, but boiler rooms were bad things in the financial world. And then they got shut down by the SEC and all this stuff. And basically a bunch of pump rooms where they'd buy stock and then pump it up on phone calls and things like that and sell shares. And anyways, so, which is the exact opposite of what we do. But anyways, it's also just a really cool name, and it's a cool movie. So it's based off a movie, and I like the name, and I wanted to do the opposite of that. So that was just pretty much it. I just like the name for the most part. Yeah, we definitely have a video on how you set up channels and charts and things like that, but you'd probably just be better off going to our website at boilerroomtrading.com, link in the description, or going to the link in the description and pulling up or following the links that says those diagonal trend lines. Just buy our custom coded script. It has multiple features on it, and then you also get a little mini course on how to use it too. That would probably be your best bet, to be honest. But you can also create one very similar-ish for free, which this is still, for some reason, being really, really dumb. We're just going to remove that, and we're going to re-add it. ZEV, very, very good hold there. That's kind of what you want to see. All right, so With, what is this, EVGO? EVGO daily chart won't give us much data for now. So this is up, mean is here. You could be looking at EVGO doing a mean reverse sort of play. Yeah, I think EVGO might be going for a target up to like 1125, and or if you break 1125, maybe targeting into the zone of 12 to 1275. But nonetheless, the stock is downtrending. The reason that we are bouncing right now is because the market sold off down to, you can see the long-term mean, plus, or not the mean, sorry, the -1 deviation mark, both on the daily chart and the 4-hour chart. So again, if you look at the 4-hour chart, look at where the bottom of the market is. It's right on -1 4-hour deviation here. And if you switch to the daily chart, it's at -1, slightly below -1 on the daily chart. So that's the reason you're seeing the bounce, and really should only expect that this bounce would counter trend back up to the next trend line, which the next trend line would be at 1125. And if you exceed that, then the next ones would be at 12 and 1277. So really, EVGO currently is a counter trend bounce back to trending resistance, which would probably be at $11.27. Do I have any videos on standard deviation lines for long-term investments and swing trades? No, but I should make one. But at the end of the day, it's going to be pretty simple. I mean, all you really do is just buy the stock when it dips down towards like -1 deviation and then just hold it. It's really simple. At the end of the day, it's so simple that I should just make a video about it. And then it would probably get like, 6 trillion views. All right, what does the HCR indicate or use in the custom deviation? The half candle retrace was actually implemented by my partner Brandon, or was the one that kind of came up with it. But the half candle retrace is there to mimic, I think, the 50% retracement of the previous trading day. So this would be a pullback, and this would reclaim like 50% of the move of the previous day. You don't determine the depth of deviation. AXELA. Is XELA still bullish? It's less bullish. Yeah, so this was, again, this is what we talked about, the dip and then the bounce back. It needed to break that resistance zone, those 2 red lines, to remain more of on like a bullish breakout. You can see it failed that level, sold all the way back down to the previous support. So it's less bullish now, and it has a lot more work that it's going to have to do before it would even come back up to those levels. So for right now, like, I would not really care for this. I would just be waiting for the breakout play. This is something where if you think it's going to break out and you really want to own it, you'd be dip buying here, trying to create like a little flag pattern to go up, right? Now, I'll tell you right now, if this half deviation price at 294 fails, you're going to see the market down at about 237. So I'm not really long it, just kind of watching it. All right, next one that we're going to go back to is mRNA, because mRNA might, no, not quite, almost down, or well, almost into a new low pre-market. So we are trickling down. It'll be fun. It'll be nice to see if we get that target to 476.43 there. All right, next one on the list here is AQHPI, which doesn't pull anything up, so I guess we're not looking at SDC. Next one, so SDC earnings down to $5. This isn't even on support yet, at least on this time frame, so I'd say down to 520. And the daily chart is at, yep, so I would just say that the market is going to go down on SDC to 522 to 502. So I think you could be bearish this morning on SDC, looking for a 520s drop. So you're at about 550. Heck, that might be a decent play. It would be annoying if they hold it up and don't allow it to fall short, and it's easy to borrow. So it wouldn't be a bad short play if you could get at least a 20-30 cent swing down to that target and cover. So hopefully that's a play. Obviously the move, so the pre-market low is not currently much of a support, right? The pre-market low here, or sorry, after hours low. Oh, you know what? It's probably a half deviation. I should probably mark that. Actually, no, maybe it's not. Or yeah, it probably is. Let's see. So let's see. This is where... No, it's not 550. So really the pre-market low isn't even a, to me, a legit support. So I think this is going to end up having weakness to break the pre-market low, swing into the 520s to even a $5 price. All right. Next one. Snap. A lot of people asking about Snap. Okay, so Mr. Patel, yeah, you know what, bud? I'm good, dude. I'll look at Snap, but once you're gone. See ya. Peace. All right, so now we're going to look at Snap. It looks like a flag pattern, more or less kind of on the bull side. Yeah, I would probably just remain on the bull side of Snap. Maybe even looking up towards like $90.28. Sorry, Mr. Patel, we don't play that game. I mean, you don't just sit here and just spam my chat 6 million times asking about the same stock when you have other people to respectfully put in one ticker one time and I write them down and go over them. But, you know, so that's just how I roll. So, alrighty, we'll take a look here at IMV. Is there a boiler room tattoo? No. So main stock probably following today. A little bit of mRNA, maybe AMC for right now, and ZEV, which is a penny stock. So IMV, this is a penny stock that jumped up. So it came from the 9-day moving average. We've crossed the 50-day moving average. We are... Where are we? That's the question. Don't forget to watch ZEV, by the way. Okay, that's super annoying. Oh, wait. Stock MEDS may be moving right now. Hold on. Shit. Not really that good. Okay, so this will go up to there. Zone. Gotcha. All right, so with IMV... Right now, I believe the long target IMV is going to be into 249 to 278. Let's check the news. Hopefully it's got some news. Yes, there's news right here. It says, your grandma loves boiler room trading. Make sure to send her a link. What do you know? No way. It's crazy. Crazy shit. Oh, no, but actually it's here. IMV announces final top-line results that your grandma still loves boiler room trading. No, seriously, though. They do release top-line results, clinical trial in advanced recurrent ovarian cancer. So IMV announces final top-line results of something I can't pronounce. Clinical trial of advanced recurrent ovarian cancer says median overall survival was 19.9 months. And overall survival rate was 44.9% at 23.8 months. Shares are trading higher if the company reported top-line data. The company said that the median over blah, 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 same shit. All right. We are good to rock and roll. So again, I kind of like this. Let's do one thing. Let's check the float on this. What is the float? So the float on IMV is 76 million. So it's a higher float stock, which probably means you're not going to see it move like lightning fast. It's going to be probably a slowerish, kind of grindy stock. So, but nonetheless, in the event that this does end up going to the long side, you're just going to want to target up to $2.52 to a zone of $2.76. You don't really want to try to get more than $2.76 on the long side right now because that is where the intraday blue line's at. If you look at my chart, you can see the intraday blue line, blah, blah, blah. That is probably the max price you want to go for is a $2.52 to a $2.76 price point. The stock ZEV is trying to break out right here, so we'll see. It's at the +1 deviation mark again, trying to get through it, so we'll see. Oh, and then on the flip side, for IMV, in the event that the analysis is wrong and it sells off, I think it would be targeting back down to the prices of 194 to 175. Hold on. No, not necessarily. Oh, and you got one there. Interesting. The pre-market high was the half deviation. That makes sense. So yeah, you do have slight resistance at the pre-market high. It's a half deviation. Nonetheless, again, if you can get through the pre-market high, then you target into 250 to 275. Other than that, once you break down the price of 212, then you would look for a move down to 194 on IMV. And that, folks, is pretty much the analysis with IMV. Yes, it's not that simple. If it drops to -1 dev, then it can continue selling down. But if, again, you are buying stocks for long-term purposes, then at -1, you're going to be one deviation below the long-term statistical mean. So again, from a long-term perspective, it works pretty well. It's more of like a macro, but yeah, I mean, that's all I'm getting at is if you're going to be doing anything long-term, just your standard deviation to give yourself a pretty good assumption if a stock is on sale or not. That way you're not buying something long-term and buying it at an extremely high price. So you can wait for a dip, wait for it to go on sale, buy it, and then go long, right? So as long as it's a company you support, you like long-term, you don't really care exactly what happens on the day-to-day, then just make sure you're buying it at a decently low price and you should be all right. So there is the stock ZEV rejecting the 1 deviation mark. Again, that's that $9.50 price point. Yeah, so like SUNW. Yeah, I mean, that was one that we followed for a while. What is it doing now? So this is still holding okay. Actually, this might be around the corner from popping into a long. But yeah, I mean, like, that's another good example, right? You can see you're at -1 deviation on the daily chart in this zone, and, you know, it hasn't gone up, but it hasn't really dropped too much more below that level. So I still think SUNW might be right around the corner from turning into a long as well. But I mean, that's going to happen. There are many examples where something like that happens. You'll get better at recognizing when something is going to remain a little weaker and it won't move. We took off SUNW a while ago because we knew it was going to do that and just kind of trade slow. So knowing when something's going to be a little slower, recovery is probably going to be slower, can naturally just happen just by being more active and watching markets. No, I usually don't, which not to say that it couldn't help, but normally I don't. But I could definitely try it, you know, in the future. I'm not sure what's up with all the guys in chat right now. Is there a way you can see equity in the same window? I mean, if you're using Thinkorswim, I don't know. Well, if you're on the main, if you use your Thinkorswim main homepage, then you can see your equity in the top left, or you can see it under the trade tab. So as long as you're using the main window of Thinkorswim, then yeah, generally speaking, you can see your equity if you would like. Let's just go back, take a peek at mRNA. So you can see mRNA never, so here's another example, mRNA never made it down to the +3, and we're bouncing back up to the next deviation mark, essentially, is what's happening. So you can see if we go here to the daily chart deviation is at daily chart deviation's at 490. So on the short, really you don't want it to go back over that price, and holding is just kind of annoying. You would like to see it stay below that price point would be ideal. Zev's not necessarily too high for a run. Again, it's only at +1 deviation, so it's at a resistance mark, but it's not like it's trading at 3 or 2 deviations. I mean, it's really only it's only 1 deviation above its trading mean, which theoretically isn't that overbought. At 1 deviation, about 66% of the time, the price will stay below 1 deviation, or it's going to stay trading with inside 1 deviation. So theoretically, there's a 34% chance that it goes above 1 deviation today. Oh, appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. If you do us a favor and make sure to smash the thumbs up button. Yesterday, I think we got up to 600 likes, so I'm putting all the effort on your guys' back to get us over 600 likes today. Okay? FULC target. Damn, late. Gotta watch on double speed. Catch up. How do you determine a standard deviation mark? By going to boilerroomtrading.com? Actually, no. Let me, 1 second. I will, This is nice. This is how you determine a standard deviation mark. You follow this link that I'm sending in chat right now. That's what you do. Follow that link, go to our page, sign up, get our custom coded script, and that's how you're going to get deviation marks. And there's also a course that goes along with it. No, I really don't use my TD Ameritrade account for investing at this point. If you looked at Pinterest today, I don't know if you have seen Pinterest today, but it's starting to kind of bounce a little bit. Not sure if it's really going to amount to enough to really rip today, though. Want a secret to beat the algo? Get boobs. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I wish we had the deviations for trading view. Wow. Our viewership just went to 663. Look at this. This is very interesting. Look at that. Our viewership, 663, and then knocked back down to 400. Look at that. 663 viewers all of a sudden, and now down to 400. Think about it. Think about it. How do you just spike and go up 200, almost 300 people? There it goes. Let's go. Wait, but it doesn't make sense. How is it saying only 401 viewers? But see, where'd it go? Where did it go? You see that? Ah. What did I tell you, folks? What did I tell you? That's proof in the pudding right there. So again, for the past 5 years I've been on YouTube, and you wonder why I have 170,000 and some other people are almost at 1 million. Now you get it. I've been battling the YouTube algorithm this entire time. So it's unfortunate. But that's what my channel's battling against. That's why I always tell you guys it's important. You gotta hit the like button. You gotta share my stream to outside locations because I just don't get the same help and respect from the YouTube algorithm that many other people do on YouTube. And it's unfortunate, but that's why I gotta use you guys, and hopefully you guys can help me as best as possible. Okay. Alrighty, so again, we'll keep rocking and rolling. Those sneaky bastards. Alrighty, so like we were saying with mRNA, because you ignore some of your audiences, I pretty much respond almost to every single comment. So as a streamer, I do a very good job at interacting with most of my people, I would say. So yeah, we're looking for, like I said, as long as mRNA doesn't get back over that 490 level, then that would be the ideal situation right now. So far, I'm not disappointed. Buy more golf balls. Thank you, Mitch. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're definitely going to be cranking out a round of golf here pretty soon. Look at the stock ZEV that just spiked up to 10. So that's cool. Remember, we did say it could make it all the way to 11 to 12 today, but it had to surpass the 1 deviation mark, which it just did right there. So I would think you got to stay on the long side of that. Ricky Bobby. Hey. We are creeping back up slowly, though. No, never mind. AHPI low float. 1 second. I got to start up our morning meeting here. Give me a sec. 1 sec. All right. Cool. No. But yes, I will cover a couple of these here in just a second. I just got to do something. Okay. Perfect. All right, give me one more second here, guys. ZV still going. Alrighty, folks, we are back here. Okay, there's something that was on my mind just about 2 seconds ago. Oh yes, that is just a reminder for those that are maybe newer on the channel this morning. Don't forget to tune over to Trading Clips YouTube channel. This is ideally where you're going to get free trade ideas scanners and Benzinga scanners all day. And if you want, you can sit here and chat with just 4 people. Just 4, that's it, or actually 3. So with that being said, make sure to tune on over there. Those are run all day long, pretty much until 5, 6 p.m. No. Yes. AM mixed sizzle at 37. Let's see. Okay, so I could jump up. Okay. Yeah, I will put the link to the channel here. Actually, give me a second. That's a really smart idea, because then I won't have to sit here and do it every single day. 1 second, guys. So that is to this YouTube channel. Control C that. Control C that bad boy. We're going to go to bit.ly, shorten that link. We're going to shorten it. We're going to copy it. We're going to go here. We're going to go to timers. We're going to make a new timer. And this is going to be Trading Clips. Okay, and this is going to be we'll do that. Okay, so here's a link to it. There's a link to a separate YouTube channel I just posted in the chat, and then I also made an alert for Nightbot to send out that link every 5 minutes. At least for today. I'll probably make that longer in the future, but at least that way people will be reminded that it exists. Alrighty, so back over to mRNA here. Let's see. So mRNA did end up kind of rolling down again, kind of did that little flag pattern there, popped up, could not hit fully to kind of that 490, rolled back down, held support at the 1 deviation mark. So currently in the market structure, the bears, myself, we want to see mRNA roll down below the intraday -1 mark and then swing down to 476, hopefully break 476 and then just fall apart. That would be awesome. So mRNA has been kicking the short selling ass for quite some time here, so we'll see if today is the day, folks. There is Benzinga does offer options scanning, some capabilities there. Do I still trade options? No, not really. It's something I still want to learn more about, and actually I'll probably start learning a bit more of it because of the changes that I've made at Boiler Room Trading, where some of my time is freed up a bit. So definitely going to be, and in the future I'm going to be starting to maybe do like a bi-weekly YouTube meeting with my partner Dave, who's a really good options trader, to help teach you guys a little bit more about options. So, and just to introduce options a little bit more frequently to the channel. So a couple things there that will be coming. Yeah, so AMC, again, analysis really still the same. If it's a legitimate breakout day, we could see a target, maybe as high as 43, 44. If it falls apart, I would expect that the move can still come down to 35, 40. So we're not really trading at any levels that I'm comfortable taking a position. So kind of just watching price action develop here, and then maybe there might be a long play for a break over consolidation or something that I'll be watching into. But really the only thing I'm mainly working on so far is the mRNA play. Still going to continue following ZEV today as well. That thing still just looks like it's rocking. AHPI, sure, give me a sec. So, AHPI, huh? Yeah, I mean, this is definitely something that looks like it has a good formation. It has a cup and handle formation. You know, in this instance, you'd be looking for a break over 1154 to be long bias. I myself am just not comfortable longing at that price, and I haven't been for the past couple days. It's just the way that I go about looking at things and doing things. So for me, I'm not comfortable being long bias, but in the immediate, ideally for you to be long bias and get immediate movement for yourself to the upside, you would want to remain staying over the price of these two levels. So you want to stay above 1037 and above 985, and you're ideally looking for a break through 1143. So if it does a 4 standard deviation and breaks out, then at that point, you know, I would just go based off the intraday level and say your max target for now would be about 1270 to maybe 13. If you watch this on TV, does it show up on your stats page or not? You know, crew, I'm not actually sure what you mean by that, to be honest. Mr. Montero, I would not be opposed to maybe bringing you on and having you share some ideas. You know, if that's something that you're interested in doing and feel comfortable doing, I would be more than happy to, you know, do that with you and maybe have something set up. I'm sure you have my email now. I think you emailed me, so feel free to email me as well. AMC to the moon as usual. I hope so. SPRT BTC merger. How's the hood looking? How do you plot your graphs like that? Anthony Francis. How do I plot my graphs like that? You're going to want to use this custom coded script I'm going to send you in a second. So I just posted a link there. You're going to want to follow that to our website. Get that. It's not too expensive, but once you upload it, install it to your Thinkorswim platform, you have it, and then you get all the future updates or any advancements we make to it. But I believe once you add it, you're probably not going to ever not want to use it. Oh, can't chat when watching on TV. I get it. I gotcha. So the bearish move is working pretty well here. Remember, like 5 minutes ago, we said that we want to see mRNA break down the -1 intraday deviation. You can see we bounced there first. We just retraced back down to it, and you can see we got just this little candle holding in that area. So again, the current objective for the market on the bear side is to break us down below the -1 deviation, keep swinging further, and hopefully reach an intraday target of 476.38. Hopefully that breaks, and then this thing just falls apart. Okay. We can look at PFE. So there goes AHPI. As we mentioned, you're looking for the break over 1142. Right now, we only suggested a target of $12.70 to maybe $13 on that breakout play. So if you're involved within that market in that current move, your desired selling targets would very much so be at about $12.70 to maybe 13. Not to say the stock can't go higher later, but generally speaking, this would be a good selling location given the current move and or leg and or market structure. So this red box we just added to the chart is a lower risk selling area. We didn't quite get there. We're close. Maybe it gets there, but still, that red box area is definitely a level to consider being less bearish. Or sorry, less bullish. You're a new trader. Do I have any tips for you? Definitely paper trade first, 100%. If you've never really invested in the market, I would highly suggest investing into the market before trading. So that's another thing too. If you've never invested, then I wouldn't recommend trading. I started investing when I was 18, so I had already been investing for a while and buying things when I was younger, before I even tried to trade stocks. So I would highly suggest doing that first. Man. Really crazy that we jumped up to about 700 viewers, and then YouTube took them away almost that day. I don't really know what happened there, if it was a fluke, but that there almost pretty much supports all my ideas on it. ANY. Oh, that's the stock that, yeah, so this was the one that was trading up at like +3 and +4 deviation. So this is something that I'd be slightly bearish on because they're trading up at +3, +4. So not really long bias on that myself. I kind of think that's going to continue to wiggle its way down. Let's go, Ken, my man. Yeah, so I bought and held stuff for a long time before I really started, investing. And I still have my first account. My first account, I don't know what it's worth now, but I think it's closer to the 30,000 mark. So my first account that I started with 18 is just now probably making it over 30. I haven't checked it in, I don't even know, 6-7 months. So I have no idea. Probably up, but yeah, that's probably about 30 grand now. So my first ever investing account's probably cracked the 30K mark just recently. So pretty happy about that. But again, I don't do anything with it. Crew? Yeah, so the link for Brandon's mentoring class will always be located inside the Elites program on our website. So if you're enrolled in that, you would log in, get his link for his mentoring, see what time he starts, and so on and so forth. They wouldn't be posted to YouTube. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we were at 336 likes. Thank you guys very much. I do appreciate all the support. We got up to 600 likes yesterday, so we got to continue to beat our record likes every day so that we know that we're doing everything possible to get the stream to new viewers. So again, we got to get over the 600 mark today, and then we're going to have to get over 700 and 800 and 1,000 and then 26 million. Whoa. So yeah, we just got to do our best effort to keep hitting the like button so that we know what we're doing, everything we can to get the stream to a popular area on YouTube. How to determine whether a stock is going long when it is trading between +1 and +2? Really, that comes down to candlestick formation, charting, and basically consolidation breaks. So again, that's why, and that can be significantly more confusing sometimes. It can be hard to determine which way a stock's going to break out of a wedge and so on and so forth. That's why I always say it's best to try to have your entry off the deviation so that way you're not trying to pick a consolidation point to buy in to get it to move to the next. Again, so if the market is meant to go from 1 to 2, it's easier to buy at 1 and let the market move towards 2 as opposed to letting it bounce off 1, go on a run, then pull back, and then you have to decide when that pullback's going to stop and then when it's going to move again. So for me, again, I always find the easiest trades or easiest ones for me happen when I start to enter around the solid deviation mark. So, but the answer to your question is really just tracking consolidation, looking for bull flags, looking for wedges, and then whatever makes you decide that it's going to go is what it comes down to. You can use moving averages, TTM indicators, momentum indicators, RSI, relative strength index, MACD, stochastics, whatever indicators, generally speaking. They're all there to do a different purpose, but main thing is looking for candlestick formation and key levels for candles to break above to shift momentum, ideally. Let me go back. So there goes AHPI into that recommended target for you guys. So again, that is a desirable sell point for many. As you can see why that candle instantly turned into a long topped wick and went bearish. I mean, you can't make this up. So again, that there in itself deserves a like. So let's pop on over to MRA again. Let's see where we're going. mRNA is so close to, oh, that's the 4 hour. So my level from that 476 is actually probably wrong from earlier. I think it's been adjusted. Yeah, so that level of 476 we discussed earlier is no longer the target. The target is back down to 480 and hopefully to break 480 for continued weakness on the day. Now remember, we were saying down to 476 just 20 minutes ago. But now if we go back and look at the 4 hour chart, you will see that that 3 standard deviation mark on mRNA no longer exists at 476. It exists at 479. This is what we discussed yesterday about the standard deviation consistently recalculating its level. So I would make videos about this. People would get mad. They go, oh, this is stupid. It repaints the levels. And I would tell them that's exactly what you want so that you can continue to get accurate updated pricing. So we were at 476, now it's at 480. So if we didn't go back and we didn't double check that, we would still think that the market's supposed to go down to 480 when in reality it's meant to stay above 480 or else a bigger breakdown will now occur. So that's so that you can always make sure that you're up to date and the information you're getting is accurate, so there's less confusion sort of thing. And even with the system, is no guarantee that you're gonna make exuberant amounts of money or that you're not going to still have difficulty, but it should 100% start getting you way more in line with market trend. Yeah, ZEV still kind of doing its thing. Still looks like it's trying to make a long move. So we'll still watch that guy for sure. Now, I will say this about AHPI. I mean, it did break over the previous high, so this could be a day or a situation where it has enough momentum to keep trending on the upside. So I would watch AHPI today. I would probably be slightly more bearish going into the open because of where it's priced at. So do take note on that. When do you see the market going back to normal? If you're referring to the market as the stock market, then I would say it's just the endless bull run. But if you're talking about the world, I mean, I don't want to make assumptions on, people in power. It's just too hard, right? I mean, for example, think about how hard it is to estimate the earnings of a company. It's kind of hard to even do that at times. Imagine trying to estimate the motives of a company that has control over trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars a year and lives. That power it's too hard to judge exactly what they want to do. But again, so I can't really make assumptions on that. It's just too hard. My life's been normal for a long time. Even when we had the lockdowns going on, my life was normal. I live on a lake, so pretty much nothing changed. We all just grabbed beers, walked outside, hung out, and went on boat rides. So for me, life didn't really change all that much, but for others, it definitely did. So for me, it was all pretty much ho-hum, diddly-dum, everything's cool, because I don't let media scare me for the most part. Unless there was bombs dropping over my head, then I might be a little frightened. But for the most part, life didn't change much for me. But again, I don't like to try to predict what people in power are trying to do when they have control over trillions of dollars. You almost don't want to know where their plans are. It probably scare you to death. So I have no idea. No idea. What time is it? 9:21. Do I think the market is overbought? On a yearly and half-year perspective, the market is not overbought. But on a long-term perspective, 100% the market's overbought. Actually, I'll put the market up on the screen on the right. We'll do the S&P 500. We're going to look at this over the past 20 years. And so if you look at the market over the past 20 years, right, if you think about the way we typically teach on our channel, about investing and things like that, we always say, like, wait for the market to go on a dip, right? So what we would typically tell you here is wait for the market to drop down towards like this zone, maybe. And that might be a little far, but I mean, you can see back here on this yearly chart, market dipped down and we bought, right? So in this situation, I would be like, it would be wise to look for a dip in the market and then get long as it maybe comes close to the -1 deviation mark. And so if you kind of take that and look at this 20-year chart, what do you think we would be telling you? As this market gets up to the blue and as the purple, we'll be like, this is getting really overbought. We should really consider being bearish. So the market keeps chugging along. We know it's getting into an exuberant market. This is a very euphoric market. Just last weekend, I was down at the Detroit Yacht Club. I'm not sure if any of you guys are from Michigan or ever been there. By no means, am I some like bougie boating person. That's not really me. So anyways, but I do get invited there. It's a cool place, a lot of fancy boats, a lot of wealthy people-ish can make money. So a lot of good conversations. You can learn a lot from people there because a lot of different industries, a lot of knowledge. So anyways, I was sitting down with a couple guys and they're talking about, they're like 50s, 60s invested in the stock market, and their financial planners will call and ask them what do they want to do, and they said, this market's ripping, let it ride. When in reality, as you start getting into like your 50s, 60s, 70s, you should actually be decreasing your exposure in the equity markets and moving more into low risk bonds and things. That's like the protective nature in investing. But of course, if you're YOLOing and going for a bunch of money, then you're going to keep your full positions and let it ride. So nonetheless, this guy Alan and a few others are basically saying they're heavily invested in the market, even at very, very later ages in life, and they're still holding positions like maximum and letting it ride because they're making so much money. I don't blame them, right? But that is the perfect saying of a market top, right? Everyone's riding the wave and you have to know when to get out. And if you ask me, I mean, we are getting to the point, I thought it was back here. I thought it was back in like the Trump era, and we called a few of these corrections and drops. We called like this one, and then we were wrong about that. And then the pandemic happened. And then we just been ripping since, right? So this is definitely becoming more of a euphoric market, exuberant market. I don't know when it's going to top. I just know that if in the event it keeps going and then we end up seeing it towards the +3 deviation mark, there's no way you can convince me that we're not going to pull back very soon. So I'm kind of just waiting to see if this market ends up grinding all the way to a +3 on a 20-year. And the reason I say 20-year, it's just a charting time frame that I've been using for a long time. Whether it has a significance or not to create what I'm thinking, I don't know. But I do believe markets are high. We are overbought. Not necessarily on the yearly chart or over the past like 6 months, but over the course of 20 years, 15 years, yeah, I would say we're definitely into an overbought area. So there goes more of a double bottom on MRNA. So market makers holding a double bottom, unfortunately. Big buy candle there. So I covered most of that play on mRNA as we're kind of double bottoming. Not going to run the risk of them trying to squeeze me up out of the gates. But again, if it continues to be bearish, I want to be back in, I can always do that. So not a bad trade. I ended up making about $4 on that play, 4 per share. Could have been more, obviously, but whatever. Whew. So, ladies and gentlemen, we still got to get up and over that 400 like mark this morning. So go ahead, tickle it, snuggle it, whatever you got to do. You're only 16? Holy smokes, bud. You are definitely on the right path then, my friend. 100%. We're still watching it bearish for the time being, just because why not? But I did cover 70% of my short play from this morning that came down. Grab a coffee, smash the like button, invite your grandma over for a cup of tea, and let's rock and roll, baby. Yeah, BTBT might go down, but for the longest time that I've been checking, it's not shortable, so there's really no point of me even trying to do anything on the bear side of that. But we've been watching BTBT for a short, Actually, we probably would have shorted it yesterday. Watch this. I mean, it's probably hit. Yeah, we would have shorted BTBT yesterday, but you couldn't. So today's a good day to be bearish. I should buy a put. Why not? I'm going to use Robinhood. I'll buy a put. Is that a smart idea? I mean, it was a big drop yesterday. I mean, we didn't actually tag support, so we still have a move down to about 15. It has the half deviation here. Okay, so we might do like a bearish put on something like this today. Again, I'm not a big options trader, so there could obviously be a better short play than what I'm considering, but just in the immediate, I think this would go down today. So I might consider a put only because I can't actually be bearish with shares. So what I would probably watch for on BTBT would be, there's two things. I don't know. I'm never smart enough to know exactly what's going to happen in the market, but I wouldn't be surprised if BTBT gives you a pop back up towards the price of maybe 18. But nonetheless, the main objective to be bearish today is to at least break down the 16 mark and swing it to 15. So you're at least $1 down to 16 is the objective for BTBT today, I believe. A really awesome objective would be if it went down to the price of 1330, which would be the long-term statistical deviation mean. So yeah, that's probably, this is for sure a selling location. If you see BTBT up at prices of 18, 17, 65 today, it's a for sure sell location, guaranteed. You should probably take a position on the bear side there. Alex, well, like, you really think a multi-billion-dollar company like YouTube isn't smart enough to block the word porn, bud? I mean, come on, use your brain. I know you're smarter than that. Mr. Kuyakim Dule TV? I don't know. But Mr. Kuyak, that is a standard deviation indicator. I just posted a link to it in the chat at the very bottom if you're interested in checking it out. So again, today's watch list. Actually, why don't I do that really quick? We have 1 minute, so this is going to be impressive if I could do this in 1 minute. I don't think I can, but let's see. But it wouldn't be bad to put it up there. Sure, let's do that. We're going to have to do that later. Thinking, using the brain. I want to buy a put. I think we could see basically prices of 15. The question is, do I want the put to go into the money? Well, that's dumb. What's that? August 20? It's not bad. Well, yeah, I'm just going to do an out of the money put for a 5th, but I would rather be in the money. But the only thing they have is a 17.5 put, which is kind of like, meh. It's a little cheaper here, so I'll do 1. I'll buy that. It's 2. Okay. Damn it. Did I not get filled? Fucking figures. Yep, figures. It's the worst using Robinhood sometimes. It's just so slow. And then in order to cancel an order, you have to go to the most random spot ever to do that. It's like, don't even know where the hell it's at half the time. Did it go through? Yay. All right, so took bought a put on BTBT. So it would suck if BTBT squeezes up to the resistance first before dropping, which could very well happen. If it ends up dropping and hitting the price target first, that would be awesome. But in the event that it squeezes up to there, that put's going to go red for a bit, and then I might have to add another one there. But we'll see. Alrighty, looks like mRNA is getting absolutely smoked, ladies and gentlemen. So thanks for tuning into Boiler Room Trading. We'll be here every morning. Yes, actually, if there's anybody in here that's really good with graphic designs and t-shirts designs, please send me an email here at connorpolifrone@boilerroomtrading.com. I could pick someone up off of Fiverr, but I would rather have someone, maybe in-house. But that being said, yeah, that's it. BTBT still magically holding up okay. BTBT, yeah, starting to pop. So like I said, it might squeeze up to that 1780 price or so before actually trying to go bearish on the day. mRNA still selling off that top beautifully so far. AMC getting smoked, so that means AMC's probably going down to that price target we mentioned. All right, thank you, Mr. Kellerilli. So yeah, just expect AMC is going to drop down to about 35.38 to 34.38. The stock VRRM also just came across the scanner. Go down a penny, oh my Giffil. BTBT, kind of trading at the +1 deviation mark again, still no break up there. AMC is getting smoked all the way down. That's still probably going to go down, so just an FYI. ZEV stock is currently coming down. BTBT still holding resistance below the +1 deviation on the day. Good jump there from BTBT. Again, AMC down almost to that price target we had mentioned. pins. Still red, so that swing trade again still probably going to stay red for a little bit. AHPI taken off, not trying to show favor. Got it. Let's see. You need some lo-fi music in the background. All right, I will consider. Some people said they like it. Some said no, don't. So we'll see. BTBT kind of holding down below that +1 deviation mark. Again, we want to see BTBT down and through the 1612 mark, hopefully targeting down towards the 15 mark. Looks like mRNA slightly holding a little bit of a McBottom. No music. All right, we're doing no music. Oh, look at the stock ZEV. Looks like it might be getting ready to do a little rip and dip. So do keep an eye on ZEV. I'm going to pull it up here on my chart. Nice little break up from ZEV there. Still some strong sellers on ZEV holding it down though. So we'll see if that's gonna end up popping. True. That's a good idea. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get over 400 likes because we still got to get up to 600 today. So we still got some work to do there. So yeah, it looks like our friend ZEV is just going to absolutely be a pain in the ass today. So just an FYI, be careful. Yeah, ZEV is going through a battle of the bulls and the bears. There's a lot of people shorting ZEV, and there's a lot of people buying it. BTBT is rolling down. I think I want to add another put to that. So 1 second. BTBT. I'm going to buy another one of you guys. That's at $1.95. I am buying the August 20th, I think. Yeah, August 20th option chain puts. We'll see if I get the other one. I tried to buy it. I'll see if they give me the fill. They only gave me one so far. Little dick squad. No! Wow. What shit. All right, we're in there. We got 2 contracts, short BTBT, looking for a $15 price. If it gets to 15, that means my puts would just get to in the money. BBIG. I've yet to mention BBIG. Sure. BBIG, low volume, not probably a stock I would typically day trade. That's a swing long play. Yeah, BBIG you should consider as a swing long right now. There goes BTBT. We'll put a BTBT here on the right screen because that is one of the plays that we're kind of watching. And of course mRNA because we were already bearish on that and doing some stuff. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so this is BTBT. Remember we said earlier we wanted to crack below that white dotted line, and now we want to target down to $14.96 Magoo. When BTBT hits 15, you know, if we don't get over 600 likes, I might just have to dance around naked. I don't know what else I'll have to do at that point. Yeah, so Peter, what I was doing there is what I do is I use standard deviation to figure out how much the market should move, so that way when I'm buying an option, I'm not buying an option that's so far out of the money that even with the market making a good move, it won't get to close to in the money. Or I try to buy an option that if the stock falls to the price target that I have, it will make the option go into the money. But in this situation for the August 20th option chain, there was only 17.5s, which would be in the monies. And then the next was 15, which would be, and my target right now in the day is 14.95. So theoretically, I might get to like just barely in the money if the market goes to exactly where I'm thinking. If it slips further than what I'm thinking, then the 15 puts will go in the money. But again, I do use the deviation levels to project how far the stock can move. And then when I look at the option chains, I try to figure out if that move does happen, where will my options exist within that chain? Will be out of the money, in the money, close to the money, and so on and so forth. So let me get my Robinhood account back up before I do something stupid, so that I can make sure I make money. So far made a 7% return on those options, so nothing too crazy. So, yeah, if it goes to 15, it might be about a 20% return I could see. Maybe 30. ZED's kind of coming back up. Like I'm telling you, that thing I just haven't decided whether or not thing's going to end up ripping. So I got ZEV up on the chart. I do remember to keep watching that because there's a lot of people shorting it, and it still has the potential. Flapping and fapping. Nah, just kidding. You guys don't. The only reason I'd be so aggressive with this because it's more or less me trying to really figure out the YouTube algorithm and see like the inconsistencies. So that's really why I'm so adamant about it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as big a deal. So yeah, BTBT down to 1563. So theoretically, we still got another 63 cents down on the move in which we're trying to get to happen. Keep an eye on ZED. Again, that's back up, creating a U-shaping formation. So just keep watching that. Do I think renewable energy stays up from here? I mean, I do believe there's a future for it. I don't... Yeah, no glasses today. Well, actually, I started the stream and my glasses were in the other room, so I was like, whatever. They're UV blockers. They're not legit prescription glasses. You know, I'm supposed to have those too. Thoughts on DKNG and plug? Yeah, I will take a look here on this. Hold on, let me do this real quick. Turn that up. I just got to make sure I don't lose track of BTBT here. So, what'd you say? What were we looking at? Plug and DKNG. So DKNG, that yeah, that kind of reclaimed the levels that we needed to reclaim the other day. So it's starting to still kind of look bullish. I think it's just being a pain, but I think you should continue watching that. I mean, that's got a very back and forth, lot of volatility. If this wedge breaks to the upside, there should be a really good move on, should be a great move on it. And I think it would end up hitting prices of about 56.50. So I still would be long bias on DKNG. And if you look at the chart on the left, you can see that we are below the mean. So we're still kind of on sale from the yearly chart trend. Okay. BTBT down to 1549. So we still got another 49 to arguably 54 cents down till our desired target to close those puts, or to try to maybe buy a bounce on the stock today. New NUE daily breakout is strong. All right, let's take a pop on over there. Just take a gander. Yeah, NUE first attempt to break to the previous all-time high today. I see it. SDC, yeah, I forgot to watch that, but how'd she end up doing? Oh, shit. That's not going to work. That's SDC. And that's the power of listening to Boiler Room Trading every single morning. You know, you literally can just turn off CNBC, right? That's my objective with this. If you guys don't know, my objective is to really work this into like a CNBC, not like a CNBC, but like a news channel where you tune in and you're getting legitimate news and information for the market that's actually usable, which would be like, hey, SDC is going to fall to $5 this morning, or hey, BTBT is going to go to $15 this day. Like, that stuff you can actually use, right? So that's what I'm trying to actually do here. I'm trying to grow our live stream to the point where we're just kind of a news stock station. You come for legitimate financial education and resources and things like that. So yeah, there's SDC down to 5. It's actually slipping through 5, which is kind of miraculous, but yeah. A whistle sound on breaking news. Maybe I'll just hooty hoo, hooty hoo. So yeah, we just need the support of you guys to continue tuning in and making sure you like the channel, sharing it to Learn, Plan, Profit. Just kidding, don't do that. Don't do that. You know, anywhere that you're involved in a trading community without, again, stepping on the toes of moderators and admins and what have you. You know. It's really the only way I see us growing our channel. Again, the YouTube support it seems minimal. All right, so we got not SDC. We have BTBT down to $15.33, $15.40. So it's got a little bit more to go. Maybe this is already a great location to cover some. Like, if you've been short, there's nothing wrong with taking some off the table. I'm going to be, you know, I'm just trying to get it all the way down to $14.95, because if I can get this all the way down to $14.95, like I said we wanted to and called it out hours ahead of time, it just makes me look way cooler. So I'm willing to take the little risk to get the further pudding on this. Oh, they're such assholes on this spread. It's ridiculous. Yeah, the return on this put's basically garbage. They're not... they're not making it easy. They're making the spread impossible. It's typical market makers just being assholes. You know, I mean, I used to, my name used to be Connor Polifrone, so I mean, that could be, I have no idea. Yeah, break even on this is $12.95, so that's the price it would have to be at expiration to be break even. No, I have not covered Fubo, but we're going to take a look here at CVNA really quickly. That's strong. You want to be more or less bullish than bearish. You are getting, you know, into the higher prices, but it still looks good. Still looks like it's on the bull side, though. So yeah, CVNA, for sure I'm more on the bull side. You crossed through the +2 deviation mark today, which was good. That was at 362.63. Come on, let's go. There you go, bud. So yeah, you got that there. Yeah, I would stay long on this. Maybe price targets all the way up to, for now, like 382, and then maybe up to 400 or so. I think you can stay long Carvana. Yeah, they're definitely bouncing the stock on BTBT. You know, definitely before support. So again, it's annoying. And with the spread and volatility, you're not really making any money on the puts. You know, even though it drops $1 in your favor, it's, you know. And then sometimes that's why I hate options. It's like, you know, if you're a short, you would have. It's just so much easier on equities sometime. So again, we just need this to basically fail this bottom, retrace back down to the actual support, which is about 15, and then this trade would actually be okay. Right now, they're keeping the spread really wide on BTBT options for this chain, so it's really annoying, you know. The bid's 210, ask is 215. At one point, it was 210 to 220. It's just like, the world would be better if the market makers would just keep spreads thin. Yeah, ZEV, I mean, that's right, still trying to break out. I'm still kind of watching that. PFE. One second. Good dip buy. XCLA. So that's strong. That's a good sign. XCLA. The fact that it came down to the half deviation, got bought right back up, that's good. So that's still saying some buyers are willing to try and support the market there. ZEV, I mean, it's trying to break up there. So keep an eye on ZEV. Oh, sorry, PFE. I forgot. Sorry, there's a lot of tickers. My bad, my bad. So PFE right screen. Sorry. PFE up. There is a slight bearish divergence occurring. If you look, maybe. There goes ZEF. That's right, ZEF. So, yeah, I mean, it does kind of have what could be the early start of a bearish divergence on RSI taking place. But yeah, I would say you could still stay long on this, but you're starting to get into a zone where you're probably going to start experiencing some selling pressure fairly soon. So again, wouldn't really be trying to get higher than 48 on PFE given the market structure. So ZEV, yeah, we'll go over there. Let me pop that up. Sorry about almost sliding on that one, Mr. Montero. So ZEV here, you're going to be looking for, well, one, it already hit the next price target, which is was 1095. So this was the next price target up, 11 for that break. Now you're going to be going for probably a move to 1250 or so. So yeah, basically I think this has a possible to hit 1250s. There goes BTBT rolling down pretty harsh again. So going to pop open my phone, get ready for this to break lows, and then look to be covering. Do you prefer shorting hard to borrow stocks over easy to borrow stocks, and why? So easy to borrow stocks can sometimes be more of a pain in the ass to short, and the move is more annoying, as opposed to hard to borrow stocks. Sometimes the move ends up shorting easier. Hard to borrow, you're just going to have to pay for shares short. Easy to borrow, you're not going to have to pay for shares short. So, I mean, really, I don't have enough knowledge. Well, again, sometimes the easy to borrow stocks, there's two things that happen. You get squeezed more often sometimes. Not always. And then also, since it's easy to borrow, sometimes it gets a little crowded on the short, and instead of the thing falling very easy, it doesn't, because people short and they cover and it squeezes it, then they short, then they cover and it squeezes, so allowing it so it doesn't drop so easy. It does this choppy, grindy movement all day. That's another thing that happens from time to time. So we still got this BT McBT. So I put out an order to sell one of those puts on BTBT at 225. Come on. So I got one to go. What? Come on. Trying to close my put at 230. Market makers are keeping the spread at 228 like assholes. Figures. Place order. Sure. Robinhood is so inefficient at this. One at 2. There we go. All right, so I decided to take both those puts off around the $2.25 area. So closed BTBT, all out of BTBT as it swings down to that 15 price. But again, Delta Pro Master, a lot of times the easy to borrow situation can just be more of a pain to trade into because it just gets a little overcrowded on people selling short. Hell yeah, we got up to 452 likes. We're almost away to 600. So hopefully we can get there. So I kind of want to check the YouTube statistics here. 1 second. Halts normally are about 5 minutes. All right, so we have ZEV. It is open, still moving higher. Let's go. Yeah, whenever I wear it this way, then it like shades my face, so I'll move it backwards. Yeah, so again, ZEV, like I said, it could get all the way up to 1250. Right now, you are battling the daily chart +1 deviation mark. So just know that there is resistance on BTBT at the price of 1105. So in order for BTB to go higher, or not BTBT, in order for ZEV to go higher, it's got to break through the 1105 price. So you do have resistance pretty much where you're at right now. BTBT still swinging lower, and they're still trying to move that stock down. I really wish it was shortable as opposed to having to use options. Today we will be running the stream to 11 o'clock. Today's stream is going to be an 11 o'clock. 11 o'clocker. 11 o'clocker. Can we break down pins? Yeah, we can, but it really should just basically still be the same analysis. Hold on, I'm kind of going over to BTBT. I want to see if the market's going to be willing to bounce BTBT here. What do you know? Look what they do. They already bring it up. Friggin' assholes. See, that's what I mean. You see how fast that is? Like, you see how quick that is? Right? We had a target down to 15. So I'm kind of wondering if they're going to allow for BTBT to bounce here. That's really what I'm wondering, if we're going to be able to do a 1 deviation bounce on the day, at least give it a little something. ZEV up to 1166 now. FULC. Well, that's halted. Yeah, FSR. Up, then down. So FSR already hit its target on the long side today, went up to the +1 mark. Now it's currently pulling back. So you have support for FSR down at 1738 to Yeah, so for me, this would be a situation where I don't really have trending support on FSR until it gets all the way down to like the 17.5 area or so. So there's a good chance you can see FSR all the way down into this zone of 17.46 to 17 before you see it bounce. in the event that's wrong, you would have to reclaim a price point that I didn't put on the chart, which is on the daily. Yeah, so like if that was all wrong and whatnot, you'd want to at least, see the market come back up and reclaim the price of 1862. So again, for the time being, there's really nothing I would do with this other than probably being bearish a little bit, and maybe thinking it can go down to here. So again, this is where I would consider maybe a dip buy support myself. So I myself really not crazy about being long bias unless we touch that level or we were breaking out, which I don't think that's going to happen. What do you mean by, let's see if they'll allow the stock to move, if market makers are going to shift spread and move stocks? Because that's really what it comes down to. It just comes down to buying and selling and buying and selling, and then the market makers holding a certain price. And it basically comes down to market makers taking in a bunch of buy and sell orders, creating volume in a certain spot, and then shifting the spread one way that breaks the market, and then either bulls win or bears lose. It's pretty much how the market works. All right, BTBT bouncing up from that $15 bottom a little bit. Wonder if it can be anything more. Nice, good bottom. Gonna close a little trade there on BTBT. Took a little, basically it ended up being a scalp trade on that bottom. Perfect example. Someone's like, can we see or can you show how you would go about scalping? There you go. BTBT just decreased down into what I believe to be the deviation level where it should bounce. I buy long, it popped, and I just took it off. So not that I wanted to scalp the stock, but I'm trying to take an entry on a stock where I believe a low risk entry will be, and it goes up, and I just sold, and it's really just a scalp trade, but I started a trade where a trend could actually be reversing. Manipulation? No, it's not manipulation. It's just literally the way the market works. But it also is theoretically manipulation because it is. But no, at the end of the day, it's not really manipulation. It's just the way the market works, which is annoying at times. So that one was really only 25 shares. I was planning on wiggling in a bigger position up to like a couple hundred, and then the candle popped before I adjusted more shares. So it's like, man, let's take it off. So it probably only made like $2-3. It was really nothing. And that's a lot of times, well, I'll trade off size in really slowly, trying to build a position before it pops. But then if it pops, I don't chase the move up because market makers will use your orders to run the stock up. So again, that's also the problem with buying breakouts, is market makers use the orders of those buying the breakout to break the stock out. So again, that's your big issue with buying breakouts, and the big kind of fallacy about the way that it's taught online. It's that, oh, buy the breakout. Well, buying the breakout is the market makers using your orders to break the stock up, which then gives you a shit fill, which usually fills you towards the next resistance. And if I could explain this a little bit better, okay, watch this. We're going to go over to ZEV. Ready? Okay, so you wanted all your orders to be in here before, right? You didn't want to, I mean, yeah, you want to buy as this candle's breaking up. That's cool. But you wanted your orders in before that candle, because then the market maker will squeeze the stock up. Look at, so this was, remember how we said like this was the target or whatever, like up to the 11 will be your next target, right? Look at this candle. This candle goes from here straight to 11. So in that one candle, whomever tried to buy into that candle, the market makers use your orders to run the full candle to the next resistance point. That's why buying breakouts can kind of suck at times and be really hard, because you are the reason that it goes to that price, because basically the market maker uses your orders to stretch this long candle to the next deviation mark. And then at the next deviation mark, there will usually be people who sell short, maybe some people who close their position, maybe some new people who buy, which is why you get the consolidation. And then whomever wins the consolidation, right, wins. So in this case, the bulls win. Whomever shorted this top loss. So the short sellers are getting squeezed out, and the market makers are using the covers of the shorts and the new breakout buyers to break this stock up, and guess and look at where they're breaking it up to. About 1240, not quite there, but look at, they're moving up to about that 1240 mark. And that's going to be your next bigger resistance, most likely at about 1240. 1240 is most likely the place where the next consolidation will start. So again, markets move from deviation to deviation. Consolidation happens at the deviation. Whomever wins the consolidation will then break the stock either down to the next deviation or up to the next deviation. And that's how the market works. And that's how market makers do their job, is they reap in a bunch of people in consolidation, and then whoever wins that battle, the market makers will shift it one way, and then it's either the short sellers buyback orders that squeeze the stock up, or it's breakout traders that their breakout market orders or whatever are used to stretch the stock to the next price target. Yep. So look at that bounce on BTBT. I mean, I gotta say, we should definitely be at about 500 likes for that play, right? This morning, the recommendations was you could see it up as high as this, but you wanted to get it to break down below the white line. When you get it to break down below the white dotted line, you target down to the price of 15, and then at 15, you look for a bounce. I mean, I'm not the greatest trader in the world. That's a fact. I know that. I'm not the best trader in the world, but my analyses tend to be pretty spot on. So I'm very proud of that. It's taken me a lot of years to get to this point where I can sort of predict how markets should move throughout the day. And so I'm just proud of myself to be able to do that and share it with you guys. MYO, new scanner on the scan. Or new stock on the scanner. Yeah, it's kind of awkward. Can you see GNOG? Yeah, GNOG is probably trading at the same price it was trading at yesterday, I would imagine. Yeah, GNOG trading basically the same price it was yesterday. It's a buyout deal. Whenever this happens, the stock's not going to move, so you should just leave that alone. Oh, yeah, we will go over to pins. I know someone asked about that a while ago, and I forgot to actually run through it. So, yeah, the analysis with pins looks like it's going more on the bearish analysis we gave as opposed to bullish analysis, which is that pins is probably going to continue selling down next until it gets into this green zone. So, today, we've broken that level. So, I'm actually going to close that small 50-share trade, swing trade with pins, because it today finally broke the level in which I believe it makes sense that it should continue lower to our next price target. So I do believe we'll see pins lower now, all the way down into this green box, and then that will be the next desired buy point. We bought the other day here. It would have been best to buy here, but I didn't buy there. So again, that's why I try to teach that it's always best to take your entry on the first attempt of the deviation, because on the first attempt of the deviation, you typically get the lowest price possible, and there's always a counter trend bounce that puts you in the green, and then there's attempt to go higher, but if that fails, you're still green or break even, as opposed, which most will tell you, you should buy the higher low for confirmation, right? You guys have heard that we always want to look for confirmation. It's like a Ricky guy. Not a bad guy, but Ricky Gutierrez is famous for saying confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. And there's really nothing wrong with it. But the other downside of waiting for confirmation, or what you believe to be confirmation, is meaning you're usually buying on a higher low pullback. And in this case, pins goes up, creates a little higher low. And in this situation, on this one, you would have bought here like I did, and you went bigger red because you had to wait for it to close, break support. Whereas if you bought the bottom here, on the deviation, you'd be green, 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 green. You could have sold some, and then even if you didn't and it comes back down, you're at about break even. So that's the other thing. Knowing when you should actually buy a falling knife can be a better strategy than waiting for confirmation. But most people don't know where the bottom of a falling knife is, so then that's a terrible strategy for most people. So if you are someone who can accurately predict where the bottom of a stock should go, then you can catch the bottom of a falling knife, and that's a lower risk strategy than waiting for confirmation, or what you believe to be confirmation. But you won't hear that taught very often. Not really. And even in the CMT book I'm studying, they don't tell you that. So realistically, I'm teaching something that is very controversial, believe it or not. Because even in the CMT book I'm studying for my exams, they even say like wait for a higher low or a throwback and stuff like that, which I agree. It's totally true. But that throwback, anyways, that's it. So BTBT, fantastic bounce on the day, still ripping up, good stuff. I run 4 deviations. There's always one on the top and one on the bottom. It's always equal. It's a mirror image. So you have your midline, which is regression. Then you have +1, -1, +2, -2, +3, -3, +4, -4. You are the most accurate and correct I know. I appreciate you too, man. I know, that's why it always surprises me, It's like, whatever. But yeah, we're cranking and banking here, baby. Cranking and McBanking. MYO. Damn it, I knew I should have, trusted that little break plan, MYO. Too late. So ZEV still sitting. So ZEV got up to $12. We're almost to the 12 McFifty target. So not yet, because I'm not fully through even the first exam book for CMT. I need to read it probably 3 times before I'm going to become, even though the stuff in there I've already taught, I just want to make sure that I'm teaching it as professional and as good as it's supposed to be taught. So I'm probably going to go through each chapter a couple times and so on. And then, so the course that we have will be updated and changed to a lot of the material that's also in the CMT book. So even though you might not take the CMT exam like I am doing, which is 3 exams, you'll still be learning what's in those exams. So you'll be getting the knowledge of it, but without taking it theoretically. And then, of course, if you wanted to go and take the CMT exam after studying it, what's in the course, you could also do that and get certified like I plan to be sooner than later. But yeah, we are going to teach some of the CMT curriculums within our course and our Elites Trading Program. Is mRNA realistic to go to the 420 range this week? mRNA. Yeah, 420 is actually, 420 is realistic. Yeah, for not really, but I think a 440, for right now, 420 is possible, but by the end of the day, 420 won't be possible. You can see right now it's priced at 422.91. Tomorrow, this might be 425, 430. So right now, no. And the market on mRNA actually probably just hit a little support. Dude, load mRNA. It's so easy. I literally click it, I hit enter, you bring it up. Ridiculous. Thinkorswim, such trash sometimes. Yeah, mRNA is not going to bounce there. But anyways, yeah, I would still be bearish mRNA overall. The mRNA short gave me 400. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Super chats, always appreciated. But nice work, nice work. Good move, good move. Such a joke. So the play on BT only, I think it netted 35 to 40 bucks. Those puts paid shit. They really didn't do anything. And again, it was a very quick trade. I just knew that BT was probably going to go down, so I just bought some options. It's not like I did a whole lot of research on them, but I just bought something I knew would probably make money if the price target hit. So it looks like they paid out, yeah, like maybe 30 bucks or something like that. Pretty much shit. There you go, baby. Yeah, buddy. Which stocks today's top Mick gainers? Let's see. Actually, I've never used Webull before, but I gotta get this up in here. Let's see. I want to create a watch list. I wonder where that setting would be at. I know they should have it. I never use this, but so let's see. Maybe we're in here. So top gainers here, we have ZEV, FULC, AHPI, DDD. So again, we watched ZEV, right? So on ZEV, we've so far given most of the price targets up on the day for ZEV. FULC, we touched on very briefly this morning, but didn't do much for it. AHPI, we did mention a price target of 13 bucks. Looks like it got all the way up to 15. Which was also a stock we did say could probably continue going along in the day. So that being said, those are working well. DDD, what's this? That's just ripping. Oh, wow. Yeah, that... That is very interesting. DDD still looks pretty good. I don't think you should really... If anything, it would have to be a swing long, but that looks okay. But yeah, you have DDD, XGN. That was up. Let's see. XGN or not. Yeah, XGN moved, but it's just a little lower on volume. IMV still up today? IMV's kind of trying here. Oh, yeah, by the way, you remember IMV from today? Do you guys remember the analysis on IMV? Remember we said IMV, when it breaks this white dotted line, should go down to about that red line. So again, IMV analysis was also correct with the breakdown of 211, swing down more towards the 190 price. The penny stocks we recommended watching for the day for the most part was ZEN. That was pretty much our pick of penny stock today, and that is probably the one that we'll tell you to continue watching for the time being. What is not ZEN? What is it? ZEV. Sorry, ZEV. dangerous. I wonder if that does a Head and Shoulders drop. AMD, how far does it have to go down before it finds McPort? So again, you know, this is exactly what we talked about just the beginning of the week or end of last week on AMD. Is pretty much if you were taking ownership of the stock, anything over 110, you were pretty much guaranteed a loss. I'm sure they didn't tell you that on CNBC, but you know, why would they? So again, I do believe you're going to be seeing AMD go down to a price of $103 to $103 to 102.25 ish. So anywhere from the 104 to 102 would probably be where we will see. Probably where we will see AMC go. On the morning of or the day of or whenever AMC gets down to 103 to 104, that's where a counter trend long bounce will occur in the market. So you could kind of just probably be bearish down to 103, 102. When it gets to 103, 102, you could then do a counter trend long bounce. If you're just waiting to buy into AMD, you shouldn't really consider a long bounce or anything like that on AMD until it gets to 103 to 104 or 102 area. Stock BLIN is up on the MIC scanner, so we'll see if that's anything good. Ooh, BLIN, that's interesting. Hopefully I can get enough time to do the analysis here before things turn to shit. Gosh, Thinkorswim is just absolute garbage. If it would just type in my ticker symbol correctly whenever I do that and then not screw up, then I would save myself so much time. So BLIN on the move, started at 516, hit up to 612, on a half deviation right now, over 4 deviation intraday. Can't really justify a trade myself here on the long side, but I still can't really justify a short either. And it's on short sell restrictions, so we won't do any shorting, so we're going to completely leave this alone because it's just too high risk to buy and there's no shares to short. So this is a situation where I don't want to compete in that market. I was thinking about this IMV as a long candidate. I really was. We've gone through the dip. I feel like this could be a mover. I still do. I feel like it can jump. We've gone through the dip. It's always harder to predict this, though. I mean, that sold all the way down to the mean. It's coming all the way back up. Yeah, I think you can be more long bias on this for the time being. I'm not, because it's such a slow grinding stock. It's just not what I typically go for. Whew. MDIA, I did see that on a scanner a little bit ago. I forgot to look at it. So that is halted, squeezing upwards. No, support and resistance at half deviation are not the same as full deviation. They tend to be a little weaker. And again, they're just a halfway mark between. So again, it's basically half deviations are the 50% retracement of all stocks every single day. Literally. Because remember, stocks move in deviations. They go from one deviation to the next deviation. In between one deviation, there's a halfway mark, and that's equivalent to a 50% retracement. So the half deviation is literally the 50% Fibonacci move to a degree. It's not really a Fibonacci, but it really is, because that is the 50% retracement of the market every time the stock goes from one deviation to the next deviation, and markets move from one deviation to the next deviation. So the halfway mark is always a 50% retracement up. Thumbs up. AMC falling? I mean, I don't really know. Yeah, AMC's falling pretty much down to our price target, as we mentioned. Well, I wasn't too positive on what today was going to do. My analysis was I thought we would go down to retrace these levels. And on a legit breakout, we would have went up to 37. 37 or 43. 43 was much harder to get to than, of course, these downside moves. So I figured downside target. So AMC's probably got a bounce coming soon. I think we could look to be bullish AMC down here. When we get there, we should probably be bullish right around there. In this zone. It's like thinkorswim. Like, really? Like, I've never coded in my life, but I might have to learn it to freaking help you guys out. It's ridiculous. So yeah, basically the price of 36.40 is it's a lower risk area to consider being long in. McTasty. I see someone's picking up on lingo. We have 14 more likes to get over the 500 mark. Doesn't look like we're going to quite reach 600 today, but we did get relatively close. Of course the deviation thing works. That's why my streams don't pick up in a ton of popularity. They want you to learn what doesn't work so the market can continue to take your money. It is not in the best interest for most people to learn this. It's in the best interest of most people to not learn this. Make sense? Makes sense. That's really just, who knows, to be honest. But I'm sure the streams will pick up. YouTube loves me. I love YouTube. I love you, you love me. Come on, promote my channel. Give me more followers and super chat so I can compete with Trades and Matt. You like that? Yeah, I can rap. Actually, I used to have fun rapping. I used to do that as a kid. So. Alrighty, so we're looking for this to come down to the price of 34.40, 33, and then we're going to see if we can reverse the market a little bit on AM Mix Sizzle here. I'm still on level 1. It's going slower than I would have liked, but, you know, I got a lot of stuff just a lot of stuff to work on. I mean, like, I really am burning at all ends, you know. But I don't think I would change it because I love being busy. I don't like being a lazy piece of shit, so. But yeah, I mean, like, yesterday yesterday I had a couple business calls, so I'm going to take you guys along on this journey of me opening up a Turo business. So I used to do it, but Michigan just really isn't the biggest, like, populous area for Turo. I mean, if you're in LA, Miami, San Diego, Chicago, it's fantastic. So for me, the logistics issue, I think I'm going to take a small long on AMC. We didn't actually touch the support, so I'm going to take just a small long in case it goes. So we'll see. I got a small long here, but I'm also thinking we could still see it down to this level. It's just starting to bounce the 9-day moving average a bit. I might be wrong, but either way, I think we are coming into the bounce level, so I might have to average the trade down a bit into 34, 36, and then try to get it to bounce off there. I don't think that AMC is just going to continue. You know what? I might be wrong because I didn't readjust my level, so I could totally be wrong about this right now. No, I'm still right. We're where we need to be. So I thought for a second I was wrong, but no, it's right at that 30, 40, 37. So, and literally, like, if you were to go back and look at the analysis from this morning, everything has happened as I pretty much said it would. I'm like, you see this trend line? We're over the trend line. We'll probably pull back into this zone, and then we'll try to get bought up. So again, you can see I'm doing what I'm saying I was going to be doing. Right? Market's pulling back into this zone. This is where you probably look to be a little more long bias. But like I was just saying, I am opening up a Turo business, basically using the application Turo to rent my cars and make money on them. So it's very popular everywhere, but it's most popular and easiest to generate cash flow and money if you're in a very big city. It can still work very well here in Michigan, but I have to be a little bit more centrally located to Detroit and DTW Airport, which was my first big stepping stone that I had to solve, which I kind of solved. No, I did solve. So there was a guy who wrapped one of my cars who had a shop 5 minutes from the airport. I was going to partner with him, leave cars there and manage it with him. He was slow with communication, so I saw how that business partnership was going to go, so X that guy. Then my third cousin and my dad have a liquor promotion marketing business, which is located in Allen Park, which is only about 15 minutes from the DTW airport. So they're going to allow me to use their parking lot to house some vehicles. Now we're also in contact with another guy that has a trucking business that's it's about 5 minutes outside of the airport at DTW, and if I can partner with him, then I'll have locations there. But nonetheless, starting up a small, I don't want to say small, but decently good-sized Turo renting business. In a nutshell, Turo is basically Airbnb for cars, and using Turo to rent your cars is basically the same thing as having a rental property, except the return on investment for cars is like 3 to 4, like 2.5, 3 years, as opposed to where rental properties are like 10, 20, 30. So you can see AMC drop down to the target, but I don't believe this is going to be a really good bounce here because of the degree of the drop and how it dropped. So AMC, in fact, is bearish down to our price target of the day, but I don't think we're going to get a good bounce here. So I'm glad I took only a very small position there, but we'll see. I'm going to hold it for a little bit. If we're lucky, somehow it retraces back up, but it's not going to happen right away, especially because we tried to base here and then we dropped, which probably should have just held off on the long anyways. So, nonetheless, I planned on doing like a little playlist here on my YouTube channel of showing you guys pretty much from the start of initiating this to setting up the Turo account, to setting up a business bank account, to setting up, pretty much all of that. Just basically showing how you actually open up and start a legitimate, full functioning business. Not one where you're getting paid through PayPal, but no, literally setting up an LLC, and then you open up a business bank account, and then you get an EIN number, and you literally set up a fully functioning business where you can track everything, all expenses, and then of course how the money cash flows and insurance and all that. And once you get up to a certain amount of vehicles, then you can get commercial insurance, which will cut back your business expenses, which will increase cash flow. So anyways, that's something I'll be working on too. So when everyone's like, oh, when are you going to get done with the CMT thing? It's like, yeah, I'm also opening up another business. So yeah, just a lot of stuff to do. What cars do I have? I actually only have a 2008 Chevy Cobalt and a 2017 Dodge Ram Rebel. So I'm going to be in the process of buying some cars for this, which I have yet to kind of do. So basically, I'm going to be dropping a lot of cash here pretty soon. Yep, AMC's garbage. I mean, we tried it just to try it. That was more or less it. Would have been better to be bearish on the stock today, but, as opposed to trying to do this counter trend bounce. I mean, like, where's Matt Kors and Trade Trades when you need them to start buying a stock, So, I've been shopping, believe this, what a small world. So I've been shopping competition on, Turo, just kind of get an idea what some of these cars might rent for, what are popular cars. And long story short, there's this one guy in Turo that just crushes it in the Detroit area. Yesterday, I went out to lunch by myself at a Coney Island, ended up seeing one of my old landlords in the parking lot of the Coney Island, ended up having lunch with him, telling him my new business venture. And he's like, no way, my best friend is one of the biggest Turo renters in Detroit. And that happened to be the one guy that I followed for all of my planning. I would look at this guy's account, like he's done this many trips. So that profile that I use as a benchmark for all my studying on it just so happens to be my old landlord's best friend. So now I'm in contact with him. So I'm already working my way into this field pretty well.
just out of like sheer luck. So it's just a small world is really what it comes down to. Let's go, AMC. Let's bounce it, baby. Come on, give us a little bounce. Didn't you like just have surging revenue numbers? AMC record surging numbers. Warner Bro. exclusive deal. Sure, bud. Shit drops. Makes a lot of sense. So anyways, come on, Matt. Come on, Trey. Give us a little bounce, kids. Come on. Buy it up. So you can see we're bouncing on the red line. As I kind of said, there's a good chance we would. It's still staying below the 9-day moving average. That blue dotted line is the long-term yearly chart 9-day moving average. If you don't have our script, then you're never going to get that, by the way. TD Ameritrade doesn't plot it correctly. So we're looking to get through the 9-day moving average here to cause a pop to hopefully bring it up just a little bit, or if not, a decent bounce on the day. So currently long still on AMC. I added a little bit more long there in that bottom to bring down my average. So if we get over the price of $34.52, the trade would go green. So gonna need some luck for that to happen, and I'm not feeling too lucky right now. And again, you can see they brought the market up to $34.55 and right back down. So market makers, they know where my average is at. They know where most people's average is at for buying this dip, and that's why they kept it below $34.54, because over $34.54 would put me in the green and probably many other people dip buying this bottom into the green, and that's why they're keeping it below $34.54, which is also my average. Ooh, MDIA still ripping. Come on, AMC. Come on, buddy. You can do it. There's always inherent risk with doing anything, but you never get anywhere unless you do something. So risk has never been something that I'm too concerned about, because at the end of the day, if you don't do anything, you're not going to get anywhere anyways. So the whole car business, there's obviously risk involved with it, but clearly people wouldn't be doing it if it didn't already work. And it's been on the market for quite a while. Rental car companies, they've been in business for a long time. So this is a business that's already been along for a long time. It's already proven itself that it does work. It's more or less comes down to the managing skills, operations, and how you manage it, which I think I'll do just fine. Also, my best friend, that was my roommate, owns a mechanic shop. So all the stuff I get done on my cars is usually done at like 50%, 70% off anyways. So I already got mechanics in line, So I've put thought into this, It's not like you go out on a one-night stand and don't bring a rubber and hopefully everything goes well. No, I've put some thought into this. You see how struggly this bounce is? Like, very struggly. Come on, Matt. Come on, Trey. You can do it, kids. Nah, market's probably just going to keep bleeding this out. Yeah, closing that. So again, market's going to bleed it out. You can see we tried to bounce it there. And even with these candles, with most people's averages, the market makers would not allow for most anybody buying long in this bounce to generate a profit with the way they kept whipping that spread back and forth. So And note, remember, like I said before, this is a half deviation price, so this is not a extremely strong support, right? That's a half deviation, so it's always kind of wishy-washy at times, but whatever. I figured it was worth trying to bounce, so all good. But again, boiler room trading analysis on spot, better than CNBC, better than most, so I really can't complain, right? As long as I can come on here live and pretty much tell you how the stocks are going to move for the day, I think that's really, my job is complete. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about it. The market is going down right now currently, right? So I was probably buying a dip against a downtrending market. Wasn't thinking about that. You're an idiot. God damn it. Forgot. Yeah, that was dumb because I'm literally trying to buy a bounce as the entire stock market selling down. That's another thing you cannot forget to do that I just did, which is like 101 in the stock market. Don't buy a stock long if the market's selling down. It doesn't work well. Alrighty. Commercial insurance will actually save you money. Commercial insurance is cheaper than your own insurance on the vehicle. So, yeah. So, yeah, I will, and here's the other thing, too, like, you know, it's a little bit different for me, too, because this is a situation where, so for someone who might just be starting into this business, Turo business, and they don't have another business, like for me, I have a business. I have boiler room trading, and I have a rental property, which is licensed. Well, not yet, but soon to be will be licensed as an LLC. So theoretically, I have two businesses that are fully functioning, operating, and cash flowing. And then when I open the Turo business, hopefully that becomes a third LLC that I have positive cash flowing business on. And so the Turo side of things, what's cool about it is there's a lot of tax benefits, right? Tons of tax benefits. So you get the depreciation value of your cars. Those all become write-offs for me, and I can use that to deduct against my income that comes from boiler room trading and the income that comes from my rental properties. So I can use a depreciation schedule on those cars since they're depreciating assets, and that will go against the cash flow of the Turo business and or any other income that I have. So I can offset current income by using a depreciation schedule, which really just saves me more money. It doesn't make me more money, it just saves me more because then I have to give less away to the government, which is always a good thing. The less the government gets is always the best. Always. So, depreciation schedule is awesome. So even in the event that it didn't cash flow positive, you could still use a depreciation to minimize your taxes you have to pay. So there's a lot of benefits that come from it. The other thing too is if it is successful, then I could have 14, 15 different cars I could drive around all day. I could look like Jay-Z. I got a Kia, I got a Ford Focus. I mean, these things are bitchin', right? So that's the other cool factor is that you will also now have multiple cars that are all yours to drive whenever you want. Now I could create an Instagram page and I could go flex all those vehicles, but I won't do that. But anyways, you could. So that's the other benefit is that not only are you renting all these cars out, they're paying themselves off. If you can finance too, or you can buy them out cash, they'll pay themselves down. And then that's it. After a couple of years, when they pay themselves off, you can either sell the car or recoup the money for whatever it's worth. You can continue renting that same car out at positive cash flow. And you could still use a depreciation schedule, or you could sell the car, buy a newer, better car that rents for more money, and then you're just building yourself up into higher, more luxury end cars, which then become more expensive. And then, one day you have 13, 15 to 30 cars that you might rent that are all Mercedes or Beamers. So you have 30 cars valued at 80 grand. You have, $1.5 million in cars, and you can drive whatever you want. And you do this for 30, or you do this for 20 years, and you might build up an asset, $5-6 million. It's possible, but it's a long game. You got to focus on the long picture. It'll take some time, and it takes work. And my brother's going to help manage it for me. So just an FYI. So that's the other thing too. I'm still I don't want to say I'm struggling, but I just want to make sure that I get the right cars for my market. We live in an area where we need something that's all-wheel drive because the winter season here. But I'm definitely looking at a Mercedes CL like 300. I've never driven a Mercedes in my life. I can't keep track up with all their freaking CL this, CL that, CL this. Soon iPhone's gonna be the same. iPhone CL Max 6000. So. Looking at a Mercedes for sure. Considering like some sort of crossover, maybe a Chevy Trax, something that's fuel efficient, all-wheel drive, sort of on the more economical side. Considering an electric car, maybe like a Chevy Volt. People die to drive Teslas, but I don't think I'm in the realm of trying to buy a Tesla yet, because then you have to worry about the charging aspect of it, which I'm still having issues with, which would be the same thing for the Chevy Bolt. But anyways, a Mercedes, a crossover, some sort of smaller sedan, economically efficient, fuel efficient. But I'm trying to start with anywhere from 4 to 5 cars. So I think I'll be starting with anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000 in capital invested. That's the other thing I'm trying to decide. Do I want to spend most of my money to start this up, or do I want to put up 30-40% of my own capital, finance some of it, so I can keep cash on hand? That's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I'm probably going to finance maybe like 2 cars, buy out 3. So I just haven't decided which way I want to do it yet. I have no problem getting financed. But then again, that's the game of playing debt. So it's really a matter of faster growth with capital on hand to continue doing other things, or put up a bunch of capital, be less capital preserved, but be cash flowing faster. So it's just really a game that you figure out on your own. All right. Connor Ricard. Oh yeah, I already answered that one. So like, for example, when you own the company is yours, so really the income is yours anyways, if that makes sense. So it might be confusing, but when it comes to the tax game, it always gets a little confusing. But like, for example, if I own the company and I own Boiler Room Trading LLC and I own Kensington 1236 LLC, they're all my LLCs. The income comes to me anyways, right? So the loss here goes against the income here, taxed less. This is how it works. I actually had to look up the depreciation schedule that you're allowed for vehicles, because I've never had to do it, but I know you can. So that's definitely something that I got to take into consider. Look at. Yeah, maybe it was a GLC. GLC is the crossover one. CLS, CLA, I don't even know, like, for real. That's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to finance some of them or do half and half. But So it looks like AMC is now starting to bounce a little bit. Came down to the -2 deviation mark on the day and starting to bounce. So this might end up kind of recovering and bouncing on the day, but I'm pretty much done at this point. Really wasn't all that really good of a day, because I ended up taking a little bit of a loss on AMC. I mean, I won on mRNA, but it was just kind of a sluggish day to begin with. Why would I still have? That's weird. So yeah, like I said, gonna be sitting down today trying to do everything I need to do to get the mentoring online the way it's supposed to be, and then trying to finish the paperwork up to get my funds out of an old retirement account to move into Webull, so that by the end of the week, I don't know how fast it's going to take to deposit a Webull, so maybe we should project that next week. We should have Webull account more funded and have like a benchmark portfolio to follow. And I'm really pissed because now AMC is coming back up. Like, see, that's just so annoying. That's the next thing you just fucking hate. It's just so dumb, That's a part of the market. You know, as good as I might be sometimes, you're still going to get it wrong. So annoying. But anyways, so that is all going to happen pretty soon. So I will keep everybody up to speed. And with that being said, I will see everybody tomorrow morning, bright and early. Make sure to share the stream. Make sure to like the stream before you head out the door. Share with your friends and family. Share into Facebook groups, because we need to do our best to get these stream numbers up, because it don't look like YouTube's going to help us. And we know that because we watched our stream go up to 638 people and then instantly drop back off to 400. That's a very, very odd thing to see, right? So that being said, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early.